Good morning. It's the 4th of May, 2026, and Jonathan Tacadena here for the morning report for MPC Markets. So, welcome everybody to a nice Monday Asia Open. US futures have actually opened a little bit higher. It's up about 0.25% as I speak. And crude futures are actually down as well. So, it looks like Trump's jawboning, talking about, I think, Project Liberation, or there's some sort of new project involved where he's going to liberate some of the cargo ships that are stuck in the Persian Gulf. And somehow the market's taking that as great news. So I've just brought up the light crude futures there, so you can just see it's been extremely volatile over the last couple of weeks. But it just looks like every time it gets around that 110, you want to take profits, and anytime it's back around 90, that's the bottom end of the range. So while it's been very, very volatile, you can just see that it is trading in a large band there, and there is some trading opportunities. So with that, so the main headline that I'm seeing at the moment is we have the RBA tomorrow. So I asked AI on what the bill strips are implying. And basically, the bill strip is implying a 75% chance that the RBA is going to hike tomorrow. So while the US futures are actually heading on higher, and if you can just, I'll actually bring up the chart on the S&P, SPX, you'll just see that the SPX is, there you go, broken out to new highs. It actually closed at a new record high, even though it was at a new intraday high on Friday. That is actually going to head on higher, while our market, if the RBA cuts tomorrow, will probably stay range bound. So I'll just bring up a chart of the XJO, and you can just see, much different sentiment, like hugely range bound, and like we're going to be trading around the 8,700 level through the day. So as you may have heard me mention before, but the Widowmaker trade is back in force, meaning that those that are expecting the XJO or the Australian market to play catch up to the US, you're probably going to be on the wrong side of the trade there. And it looks like the US is trading on its own sort of steam at the moment. As for ASX news, basically Viva Energy, so VEA is the code. I'll bring that up. No, it's actually not. Viva, oh, there it is, VEA. So they have actually said that they had the fire at their Geelong refinery, and they're targeting a June restart for that refinery. So probably about we're about 4 weeks away from that. So I remember having it on the call on the day of the actual fire breaking out, and I was just saying, look, it's gonna probably sell off on that news, but that will present a dip to buy. And and the main underlying reason, and it hasn't changed in the 2 weeks since it's happened, is that energy has just been too cheap for too long. We've just taken it for granted that like you basically turn on the power switch and there's just cheap electricity. You just you rock up to the petrol station, and our massive supply chains, we have all taken it for granted. And it just feels like that, crude trading around, 900 to 110. That's the new band going forward. And Viva, obviously refining, with the input costs rising, they can just pass down to customers. And being obviously only one of two refineries here in Australia, it just becomes a much more important piece of infrastructure. So, so that's last trade at 250, and with that news, it should hopefully bounce from there. And the other piece of news that I saw was Endeavour Group. So they're running a cost-cutting exercise. They're looking to cut jobs and save $100 million off their expense side. So a few job losses there. So this one is kind of just being a victim of sort of the change in drinking habits. So I'm in my 50s, and growing up, basically alcohol's been a major part of growing up in culture here in Australia. But it looks like the next generation of younger drinkers aren't taking it up as enthusiastically as the older folk here. And what that means is that the drinking habits of future generations have changed, and you can just see that happen in Endeavour. You'll also see it in other stocks like Treasury Wines. And the interesting side note that in this is that it's actually a worldwide phenomenon. So I saw it happening. Look, I don't have empirical data, but a lot of it's anecdotal. But it's happening in Germany, even in Japan. A lot of the brewers there are just trying to figure out ways to get the the young people to maintain the habits of the old and drink more. So interesting times there. But yeah, just generally, they're the main headlines that I see for today. So it looks like the US futures are bounced. I'll actually bring up the ES futures as we speak. So here we go. There you go. ES futures trading 72.62. So it had the spike high on the Friday. It is higher than the Friday's close on the Monday open here. So we should see a pretty muted response here in Australia. And obviously, we've got the RBA hike tomorrow. So that's the main thing, piece of news. While I'm here, I'll bring up the crude futures as well. There you go. So bouncing around the 100 on the front month. And let's bring up gold as well. So gold should have bounced a little bit on this. So it looks like a bit of a risk on. Oh, there you go. Probably middle of the range for gold, 46.26 at the moment. So with that, actually, before I head off, the one chart that does look good is Bitcoin. So all the people that are saying crypto's dead, it's not dead again. It's probably like the 25th time that it's died. But here we are trading at 78,000 on Bitcoin. And I think a lot of it is actually just driven by demand in the Middle East. Basically, they're using it to pay for crude oil in the Middle East and actually get some of their wealth out of the region. So with that, that's my highlight for this morning on Monday, the 4th of May. And happy trading going forward. Thank you.
Feeling lost with investing? Meet Mosaic. Mosaic is MPC Markets' platform that turns confusing markets into clear, actionable guidance for your portfolio. Discover Mosaic today. Portfolio and trade ideas in one place for clients and subscribers, powered by MPC Markets.